the cameras rolling a minute early just to be sure that it's going to work and that the lighting is fine and everything's good. So thank you so much for joining us. This is my first Facebook Live Biofield Tuning Distance group session. I'm very excited to have you joining me for this. And as I've said before, this will stay up for about a week on Facebook. So if you missed it when it was live, it's perfectly fine to go back and listen to it later. So again, welcome to a Biofield Tuning Session. Our topic today will be overcoming self-limiting beliefs. So Biofield Tuning is a well-being modality that was created by Eileen McCusick, where we use tuning forks, both audible and inaudible, in your energy field to both harmonize, well, first to detect and then harmonize irregular energy that may have gotten trapped in your energy field and is forming noise, basically. So this can happen as an imprint of negative or challenging experiences in your life. And as we work in your field, we start out at the very edge of your auric field, which is birth, and we move toward the body year by year. So we're a collective being tuned today. So I'm not going to be able to tell you what age we are finding something at. I'll just say, we're a quarter of the way through your timeline, or it seems like it's early childhood or something like that. So, and to speak to the idea of tuning a collective, we're all holographically included in this event. Everybody's holograph is staying separate, but I am tuning us as a group, myself included. And that means that I'm not going to probably be getting as granular a level of information about individuals. I'm going to be getting a kind of sense, impressions that I'll share with you as I move through your field with the tuning forks. So our focus today is on the right root chakra. That's what came up when I tested to see where we're going with this energy. And the right root is associated with overdoing and overthinking. And that makes a lot of sense as a focus for overcoming limiting beliefs, because oftentimes those beliefs have to do with what we think we're capable of or not, which, excuse me, sometimes forces us into a compensating mode in terms of being really busy, or perhaps we overthink things and we don't do them. So before we start, I want to just express a little gratitude for this recommendation from my friend and colleague, Joan Bender, who put me onto this book, The Big Leap. The subtitle is Conquer Your Hidden Fear and Take Life to the Next Level. So this is a wonderful book, lots of great information about how we have all got upper limit problems. We have kind of our own glass ceiling that we are often limiting ourselves with. And I find the exercises and ideas in this book to be really helpful. But I think combined with energy work, we can make even greater progress toward recognizing and sort of dispelling our own limiting beliefs. So, basics for the session. I will be sharing impressions as I get them. Sometimes those impressions are coming in the form of the sound and the changes to the sound as I meet resistance in our collective field. Or it could be a feeling in the fork, the vibration itself. And again, to emphasize, we're using the highly organized, highly coherent energy of these forks to help our systems auto-tune back to factory settings, as Eileen likes to call it, and help us to release this trapped, snarly energy that we're combing out and have access to it again. So don't drive while you listen to this, and it's best to get yourself into a restful, relaxed position. Not everyone is going to feel energy shifting. Some people will. Some people will bring up memories or feeling tones. Some people will have no indication that anything is happening for them, but maybe later on we'll feel a little clearer, a little lighter. It's common for people to say that they feel brighter or lighter. And it's also very common after a session for people to notice that they feel more motivated, or it feels easier not to keep going down the same old pathways if they haven't wanted to go, but tend to go down the same track. So it makes it easier to embark on new discoveries and new pathways. There's a slight possibility that you might have a kind of a detox reaction of some sort, and we always tell people it's a great idea if you can take some time out after the session and take a nice bath with some sea salt or a foot soak to help you integrate the work. So with that said, we're going to get going. I think I've covered all the basics. I will sometimes not be in view, and that's fine. I don't really want you watching me. I'd rather you listen. So I'm going to try to stay, on screen, but the first thing we're going to be doing is working with your earth and sun star chakras, which are off the body at the feet and the head. And that means I may go out of the picture here for a moment. So everyone relaxing, seated in a quiet place, and I'm going to start. So your earth star is below your feet, and it's there to help you connect with the earth, and I'm going to look for it, imagining that everyone's holograph is right here, separate but together. And here we go. All right. So it's fairly clear. It's not a bad tone. It's a little pinched sounding. I'm going to hang out, see if I can get it to open up a little more. We're looking for a clear bell-like sound. A little bit of a hard edge as it comes off the puck. I'm looking for not quite so much of a tinny sound. Getting a little bit better there. And so there's a slight sensation of the sound trying to travel through some density here. We want to really open that up, especially since we're working on the root chakra. It's your foundation. It helps you really connect to the ground in terms of your whole body. So we want a really good open earth star, which also enables us to open that whole midline channel so that the energy may flow up and down more easily through that as we start to move energy around. Still has a little bit of a suppressed sound to it. Sorry for the ding. Anybody who's coming on late, we're working on the Earth Star Chakra, which connects your body's energies to those of the earth. It's getting better. starting to be a nice, strong, clear sound. Would like to hear a little bit more low tones. There's a little bit of a piercing, higher quality to it at this point. When you hear me taking a big breath in and blowing it out, that is usually a sign that you might want to also do that, because it's kind of a signal that my body is picking up on a tension, breath holding kind of quality to the energy, and I'm trying to release that as well. I'm just going to come in here with a different fork momentarily, because I'm still having a sense that there's a bit of a squeeze going on in the energy here. It's not full and open. So I really want to be sure we get a good sound here before going on, because I feel like that basic connectedness that we have or don't have to the earth makes a big difference in our confidence level and our feeling of security. So bear with me. And if you can bring your awareness down to the bottoms of your feet. All right, I think it's shifting a little bit. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. There we go. All right, opening up that central channel, that center lightning rod through the body. That helps us connect heaven and earth. And now I'm going to go over to the Sun Star chakra at the crown of the head. This is our connection to the heavens. So this tone is a little off as well, and we want to get a really nice open Sun Star chakra, helping us to connect with the energy of the cosmos, bringing the sun and all of the amazing energy of the sun down through our heads, down through our bodies to connect with the earth. And there's kind of a lot of overthinking sound going on up here. Again, I'm feeling a little bit of a kind of a pinched tube that's not nice and wide open and able to receive. Ooh, that's sounding a little better. Okay, we've lost some of the high-pitched, piercing quality. I'd still like it to have a more of a ringing sound, so we're going to hang out here a little longer. Whew, really feeling the need to yawn and release. Feeling a lot of tension that may have been built up in the shoulders and neck as you've gone about your day and week. You may want to just shrug your shoulders a little bit, move your head around. Kind of giving me an image of a very tight bladder meridian. The bladder meridian runs up and down the back in 2 tracks on either side of the spine. Starts the inner corners of the eyes and then runs over your head, down the back. It's huge. Source of many backaches. Very connected with the central nervous system, and the midline of the body on the back. And it could be that by this time of day, people have built up a fair amount of stress energy there. So just take a nice deep breath and let it out as we keep sounding at the crown, at the sun star, moving that energy down through the body, down the central channel. There we go. It sounds a little bit more regular and open. We're going to connect that up to the sun as it goes down for us here in the east. But it's not really going down. We're just turning away from it. All right. We are connected, heaven and earth. So I'm going to go out and find the birth edge about 5 feet out from the field. From the body. And look for where it seems to be a little bit thicker in a line with the root chakra on the right side. Okay, so I've come into a little bit of a frictiony area here. It's kind of a split between the high tones and the low tones. It's like there's not a mid-tone there. So we're going to hang out here. You might even, yeah, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's as though there's a part of the cord that's missing. And in fact, I'm feeling drawn to go there with the Lemurian crystal to really open up the energy in that spot. See if we can get more flow there. Pretty rumbly sensation in the crystal as we interact with this energy at the time of your birth. Who is really making me feel quite breathless. Everybody breathe. Pretty turbulent there. Go back in and see whether that made any difference. Okay, a few more tones, but there's still kind of a, again, a quality of sound there as though certain sounds are missing. So I'm going to come over here in that edge of the field and rattle a weighted fork. See if we can kind of aerate that energy at the edge. Birth is typically a high pressure situation for most people. And then if there's been a lead up in the form of a long or difficult, complicated labor or a difficult pregnancy, that can complicate the sound at the birth edge as well. including the fact that anything that was going on in your family in the lead up to your birth is possibly showing up in the way that your energy is reacting at birth. So here we go. I'm gonna make a little adjustment here. You still kind of have that split sound. I don't know. I'm going to try a different fork. Sometimes you gotta just get a lot of different sounds in there, and given that we've all possibly had different experiences, maybe multiple forks is the answer. All right, let's see how that's coming together. Okay, that's a little more unified sound. And if you think about it, the birth experience is one of our earliest gauges of what the world is like, and our experience there can be a setup for fears and hesitations that we might have later on. So it's really great if we can get this sounding good right from the start. I'm going to start moving in. Into infancy. A little bit of an alarm sound in there. Childhood. Say we're about 1/8 of the way into your timeline. And I have run into something here that feels a little bit resistant, and it's not changing sound. So I'm moving to a weighted fork and seeing if I can just kind of give it a little low vibe here. I'm not getting any particular impression about it. It just feels like a little bit of drag here. All right. something just before the 1/4 mark. It's like a little bit of an undertow of resistance and an overtone of alarm or upset. So I think I'm going in with the crystal because it does tend to be really good at relaxing a tensed up area and dispersing tight, alarmed, or upset energies. So just before the first quarter mark of your timeline in terms of age. Again, feeling a little breathless, like there's some breath holding going on at this point in your life. I'm kind of getting some sensations of that undertow feeling, almost like a feeling of being in quicksand, like some situation that you might have experienced that you felt was going quickly out of your control. Let's see. Okay, that's better. All right, just a little past the 1/4 mark, we're kind of into something else again. A kind of discomfort, heightened level of excitement, fear, tension, almost like being confronted with something that you really didn't have the resources to handle. We're going to come in with a kind of soothing tone of the weighted forks. See if we can shake some of that out. Some sadness coming up here. Okay. All right, I feel like we're going through that. So just beyond that, I'm getting into an area where, oh, that's a little better. I'm just not getting a good strike. It's as though there's a kind of turgid quality to the energy, like a density, like something really murky here. So we're going to come in here with the crystal. This is my big Lemurian. We're going to put it right into that area of murkiness. See if we can get some light moving through there. Again, it feels pretty turbulent in the crystal here as it meets up with this spot. It's like an impression of sort of confusion and stuckness. The word indecision is coming to mind. The big leap just took a big leap off the stand there. Okay, it's a little perkier. A little bit more brightness in this sound. Still maybe not quite as harmonious as we want it to be. We want to return this area of confusion and murkiness to clarity and like the fullest expression of our inherent quality of sound and vibration. I think we've got it. We're in another little spot, not too much before the halfway mark, where we're just not getting a great sound. So I'm going to bring in the 417 frequency. There's a little bit of a sense of despondency here. It's like it's like some kind of loss of motivation because of like a kind of hopelessness or loss of hope about something. It's not like utter despair, but it is really lacking in a feeling of possibility and lightness. So let's see. Okay, that's sounding a little more bell-like. So I'm getting to the halfway mark, and the fork is really mostly giving me predominant low tones here. So it's a little heavy. Full heavy going. Maybe a little bit of a sense of questioning the appropriateness of where you were at this point in your life. Something a little sobering or somber about this sound. Maybe even it's definitely like a heaviness of maybe not being able to see all your choices. So let's get in there with a good crystal treatment to open that up. Bring more spaciousness. It's like a feeling of energy under lockdown somehow. Sometimes we can get into a state of mind where it seems like it's all either or. Either I keep doing this or I'm not gonna know what else to do or how to make a living. If I don't keep doing this, I'll have no money. Or if I can't do it this way, it's not going to work. So a sense of having external limitations on your choices, which is often true. There are external limitations, but when we have our own self-limiting programs, it is often easier to interpret circumstances in that way and think, yes, indeed, this is my only choice. So opening up a field of possibility in terms of your own energetic perceptions and clearing these old patterns so that they don't keep informing and influencing how you judge your situation in the present can be really important and really liberating. All right, here we go. And the fork is sort of stopped here. Sort of about the third of the way through that next segment, if we are dividing your life up into quarters. We passed the halfway mark and then we got stopped a little bit into that next quarter. All right, we hung out there for a while and now we're moving on. And then another patch. I'm waiting to get a more bell-like sound. Sort of thin quality to the sound that the fork is producing. It's like certain tones are just missing. Okay, sounding better. Still gonna go in there with a weighted fork. All right. All right, I think we're moving along. We're not quite to the 3/4 of the way mark, and we've hit something a little different. It's just it feels discordant. There's a strange low buzz along with a kind of high-pitched sound, so it feels like a relationship issue. I don't know. It feels like a disunified sense of self in relation. Whew, quite breathless. Could be a turning point of some sort in a relationship. A disagreement about choices. What kinds of choices are to be made? Okay, I think we got through that. All right, we're in something else here. kind of a tough time. We're a little ways into that most recent quarter of your life. And it sounds pretty much like an unhappy spot. I'm going to go in there with the crystal. So we're in a spot just a little ways into the last quarter, most recent quarter, not the last quarter, the most recent quarter of your life. And I'm in here with a Lemurian crystal, bringing, oh, it's pretty wiry. It feels pretty wound up right here. It looks like some people are just coming in, so hopefully you can go back and watch from the beginning once we are done, because we're in the last about 8 minutes and we're in the home stretch of the timeline. We're going to go back in and see how that sounds at the early part of the most recent quarter of your life. Now that we've used the Lemurian there. And that sounds better, feels better. I don't feel so breathless. We're going to move on. So I've just hit a little edge here, halfway through that most recent quarter. That doesn't sound very full of ease or grace. Getting a lot of low tones, not a lot of high tones at all. Kind of a dull buzz. So again, I think we want to get some different energy in there. And I think for a dull buzz, we want a Lemurian again. So this too feels like a pretty turbulent spot inside the crystal as we run energy in, and it interfaces with what's been laid down here. For a dull buzz sound, there's actually quite a lot of tension in the energy when you get the crystal in here. It's kind of giving me some tightness in my upper back. It's like shouldering a burden that's like too much, a sense of too much, like not being able to get your head above water. So let's see if we can move that out and restore a sense of flow and freshness to this spot. There's still quite a bit of turbulence as we connect with this energy band through the crystal. In fact, it's starting to feel quite a bit like a jackhammer in terms of what it's doing in there. So this is going to be in the not so distant past for all of us. It's almost kind of a shaking in the Lemurian as we try to disperse whatever heavy load this area is imprinted with, and it's feeling more like a waterfall, less like a jackhammer, which is good. Great, so let's go back in and see how that sounds. Okay, we have a better balance of low and high. Still something a little bit suppressed about the sound here. So I'll hang out a little longer. Oh, we're getting a few sharper tones now as it starts to unfold on a higher frequency of stress. Sometimes this happens where we'll kind of get into an area and it'll shift, but it'll shift to another layer as the body tries to unpack whatever was going on that left this impression. I think I'm going to come in with a different sound. All right. Closer to the body now, closer to the present. And interestingly, at this point, I'm kind of moving pretty smoothly through here. Getting ready to bring this energy that we've released and retrieved over into the root chakra, where we're going to drop it in so the body, in its wisdom, can decide how it would like to use this energy that's kind of been stuck and trapped out there in various little knots as it got gnarled up as your circumstances created those. So we are directing that energy back to the root chakra, retrieved for your use. And then we're going to start columning. We've been combing through the field and moving through your past history. Now we're going to just be creating an energetic, clear pathway up the column of energy from that chakra. I'm going to let it mix in a little bit longer. We call that mixing paint. That fresh energy going in and mixing with whatever's already there in that chakra. And then we'll begin to column. Clearing the way between your energy field and the field of possibility in the present. I have the feeling I'm going to want to go through this one more time with a different frequency. Right. So now we're going to wrap you all up with some figure eights. And we're going to wrap you up with a nice little cocoon of energy. And we're going to close the healing space. And my suggestion again is to make sure you hydrate and get in a bath with some salt or a foot soak. And just be compassionate with yourself if you've been having memories come up of times in your life when maybe you were limiting your own choices or your own perceptions of your choices, and just be gentle with releasing judgments around that. And here we go. We're going to give you your little energetic cocoon so that you will be nice and secure as you integrate the work. All right, so thank you so much for joining me, and I'd suggest that you pay some special attention to the kinds of thoughts that are running through your mind in the next 24 hours or so. Notice your reactions to things. Notice whether you feel drawn to going and restarting any projects or making plans, or even just going and clutter clearing in a certain part of your house. Or your car even. So any of those things can be a nice indicator that you really did get some energy moving around this issue in the root chakra. And even if you don't see those indicators, my sense is that you can trust that some energetic shifts have taken place for you and that your system is doing what it can with the work that it's experienced today. So again, thanks so much for joining me. I love doing distance work. I do individual sessions with people. I also, of course, see people in person. So contact me if you'd like to find out more. All right. Thanks, everybody.